Question number 10, the Honourable WhangāreiTim Prime.
Tēnā koe te manga o te whare. My question is to the Minister of Education and asks, does she agree with Erica Stanford, who said in 2023 that, quote, we are in a cost of living crisis and everyone is feeling the pinch really, really badly. Teachers are no different than anyone else, unquote. If so, how will a proposed 1% pay increase help secondary teachers with the cost of living crisis?
The Honourable Erica Stanford.
Mr. Speaker, in answer to the first part of the question, that quote was from a Breakfast TV political panel in March 2023. Extraordinarily tough times that we've not seen in many decades. And the story, inflation was quoted to be running at 7.2%. Food inflation for the March quarter was 12.1%. So yes, I agree with Erica Stanford on that show at that time that we were in a terrible cost of living crisis that we were subsequently voted in to resolve, Mr. Speaker. Inflation is now within the target band at 2.7%. Interest rates have fallen, meaning families are refixing their mortgages, are saving up to $740 a month. While there is more to do, our careful economic management has seen results. Mr. Speaker, in response to the second part of the question, I'm not going to comment on an active bargaining process.
Supplementary. Why were teachers offered 1% but tobacco companies get hundreds of millions?
Mr. Speaker, as I've already said, I am not at liberty to comment on the bargaining process that is actively underway.
Supplementary.
A point of order, the Honourable McAnulty.
Thank you very much. Last week, sir, you went into quite a bit of detail, actually, to explain to the House that whilst ministers may not have an active role in operational activity of departments, they are accountable to this House to answer questions about them. And asking questions about a pay offer that has been made, surely the Minister is required to at least address questions about that, not simply say, I'm not going to talk about it.
Well, that might be a better way to put it, but the question itself was asking for a comparison that would be very difficult to make for any minister in the short period of time they get to answer a question. But if the Minister, just for the sake of the House, would make it clear why an answer has not been given.
Mr. Speaker, the answer has not been given because I've already said, and I'm addressing the question, and that I've already said that we are in active bargaining, and I'm not at liberty to make comments while we are in the middle of active bargaining.
Supplementary. What does it say about the government's priorities when board members get an 80% pay increase but teachers only get 1%?
Mr. Speaker, my answer is the same as the previous question.
Supplementary. Is 1% an effective pay cut when the food prices are up 4.6% and electricity has increased 8.4% since last year?
Mr. Speaker, we are still in the middle of active bargaining and I'm not at liberty to comment on that.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, the Honourable Winston.
May I ask the Minister, when someone mistakes the massive reduction in cigarette tobacco taxation and a loss to the Treasury as being hundreds of millions to the tobacco industry, is that someone a total economic illiterate?
Well, look, in so much as the Minister can find some responsibility around that answer, a point of order here. The Honourable McAnulty.
Thank you, sir. That question is essentially word for the one that you ruled out earlier. And so how come it's allowed to go through now?
Well, because I asked the Minister to elaborate on the question that you raised with me before. It seems unreasonable if the Minister's made a comment on it once for it to be ruled out a second time. But I did say in so much as the Minister has some responsibility for the questions being asked. Point of order, the Honourable Winston.
So that member repeated a previous question, making the same inference when it's demonstrably untrue. So left out there is the clear belief that something going on like the tobacco companies are picking up hundreds of million. That is utterly false. But as the bill, and now this member's doing it and getting away with it, and that's why I'm raising the point of order. And I think members are entitled to comment on the kind of economic pygmy that comes to that conclusion.
Well, there's also the standing orders provisions, which means that if the member feels another member has misled the House in some way, then there is a remedy through that course of action.
Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, the Honourable Kieran McAnulty.
Thank you very much. In the process of making that point of order, the Right Honourable Winston Peters has essentially indicated to the House that he was referring to a member of this House in his question, therefore it shouldn't be allowed to be answered.
Well, in the context of this discussion, it would be utterly ridiculous if there wasn't some reference to who the point of discussion was about. The Honourable Eric Stanford. Point of order, speaking to the point of order.
With respect, it should not be allowed for members of in fact, any member of this House to ask a question that accuses another member of being illiterate in any form and for that question to then be allowed to be answered.
Well, just so we're clear, that was actually referenced in a point of order. And points of order, beg your pardon? Well, I'll have to go back and look at the question. Well, this has gone on so long, I've forgotten exactly who said what here. But what we'll do is the Honourable WhangāreiTim Prime will ask her supplementary.
The same one, sorry, or the next one?
Well, you can try the same one, but
I'll go.
Don't be surprised if it gets ruled out.
Does she stand by her statement that teachers deserve what this government has been delivering them? If so, does she believe teachers deserve an effective pay cut?
The Honourable Erica Stanford.
Mr Speaker, as I've already said, I'm not at liberty to talk about bargaining when we're in the middle of it, but what I will do is stand by the statement that I made in the House at the last question time, and that yes, teachers do deserve what this government has been providing them. Outside of collective bargaining, I have made sure that we've pumped in $750 million into learning support because that's what they asked us for. We created a new English and maths curriculum that we've fully funded and we've all the PLD for and all of the resources for. We flooded in 830,000 maths books into classes so teachers wouldn't have to keep photocopying resources every day of the week. Mr Speaker, we have been backing this teacher workforce, which is why more of them want to be teachers, because they want to be a part of this.
Supplementary. Why should teachers believe this government is on their side when it cancels pay equity and offers them an effective pay cut?
Mr Speaker, I don't think that question at all is in line with the primary question, and I said it in the last answer I gave at the last questioning, where I said that the member really needs to not conflate pay equity with collective bargaining.